Hi there, Dave Forrest here for F52TV. Welcome to episode 22. I'm sure a lot of you thought episode 21 was the last forever. It has been a while since I've done an episode, and for that I am sorry. All I can tell you is I have been busy. I have been all over the place. I've been in LA, from LA to Blackpool. There's a contrast for you, alright, in the space of a fortnight. Talk about coming down to earth with a bang. Right. So first of all, let me tell you, I was in LA, as I explained in episode 21, back at the Magic Castle, where I done a week in the parlour of prestidigitation. Easy for me to say. I had a great time. I gotta tell you, it was so good. I mean, it's always great at the castle, but all the shows went great. Great crowds, lively, brilliant weather, you know, and great people. And I just had a wonderful time. I know I said I would get footage and photographs and stuff. Unfortunately, I'm forgetting that you're not allowed to film inside the castle. It's totally forbidden because they want to preserve the mystique, and so they should, because you know, it really is a place that you want to experience firsthand. Any sort of footage just wouldn't do it justice. So yeah, I had a great time. I did meet some very interesting people, some great magicians that I hadn't met before. And I'm going to give a lot of shout outs in a minute because I want to say hello to a lot of people that I met when I was out there. First of all though, take a look at this picture. That is me with the one and only Ron Jeremy. A word of warning here, alright, if you are under 18, and I know a lot of you are, I wouldn't recommend a Google search for Ron Jeremy. Okay, he is an actor. Alright, he was an actor in the 70s, 80s. I think he still does a bit of acting, again in inverted commas. But he's super famous. He was a super nice guy, and he was just great fun. And he plays both the mouth organ and the piano. See, when I say mouth organ, it's not even a joke, there's not even a pun. Alright, he does genuinely play the mouth organ beautifully, and he also plays piano very well. Also, this is just some stuff that you may not know about Ron Jeremy. Here's another picture. That is me with Tony Asher. Wow, I mean, did I make a fool of myself? Tony was talking to me all week. He came to my lecture. I lectured at the castle. I meant to say I lectured there as well. It was great. And he came to my lecture. He bought some product afterwards. I saw him a few times after that. I was talking to him. He's a nice chap. He's interested in my material and so on and so forth. And on the very last night before we were set to leave the next day, we were in the castle, and someone said he was talking to Bill Goodwin over at the bar, and someone said, "Oh, there's Bill Goodwin's talking to Tony Asher." Up until now, I'd only realised, I'd only known his name was Tony. I didn't know what his surname was. And when they say Tony Asher, now some of you might not know who Tony Asher is, right? And if you don't, shame on you. But I did, because one of my favourite albums of all time, and I genuinely mean it, is Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. It's a classic album, and it shows up on all the lists of the 100 greatest albums, and it's usually up there in the top 20. It's really a very special album, and a lot of people really like it, myself included. Brian Wilson, lead singer and, you know, sort of main man, might we say, of the Beach Boys, co-wrote a number of the songs on the Pet Sounds album with a guy named Tony Asher. So when someone said that's Tony Asher over there, I went, what, Beach Boys Tony Asher? And it was. So I had to go over and go, oh my god, we've been speaking to you all week, right? I didn't know it was you, and blah blah blah. And he was just a great guy, and he brought a CD along and signed it for me, which is great. You know, it's like one of my prized possessions now. A pleasure to meet him, a really nice guy. Hope to meet him again soon. And that's the CD you see in the picture, so very nice of you. Tony, if you're watching, thank you very much, sir. Right, who else? Okay, so let's get down to this beginning of this episode. I realised it's sort of been taken up with the castle, but it was great. So, shout outs. First of all, Mr. Bill Goodwin. Always a pleasure, always an absolute pleasure. Bill is the librarian at the castle now, and he's also just cardman extraordinaire. He's always got really cool stuff to show you. He gave me his most recent ebook, and it's phenomenal, as you would expect. Great company, great times, great guy, Bill, you're a legend. Howard Hamburg, must say a big shout out to Howard. If you haven't seen Howard's DVD, I believe Magic Apple put it out, go and get it. He will fool you consistently, time and time again. He's just a fantastic card man, very knowledgeable, and he just will continually blow you away. So great guy. Richard Rodriguez, I must also mention, nice guy. I hadn't met him before, but he's a friend of Howard's. We met him, and they were kind enough to drive us one day to Dean Dill's shop, so we went and met Dean Dill. Here's a photograph. That's us in me and Gary Middleton there, who was working close up that week for Scottish Week at the castle with Dean Dill. Yeah, Dean Dill, great guy. Who else was there? Pete Byro, met him in the shop, great guy. You know, cool place, the Dean's shop. You know, it's all about magic. You sort of forget it's a barber shop, you know what I mean? It's good that way. So yeah, it was nice to spend the afternoon with him. I showed him some stuff, and he showed us some stuff, and it was a great little session that afternoon. Come on, who else? Jack Goldfinger is entertainment's director at the Magic Castle, so it's he sort of looks after you, makes sure everything's tip top. He's the one who's basically responsible for booking me, so it was great to see him again. Thanks very much, Jack. JJ Raman is a guy I'd never met before. He's a great card man and a really funny guy. We had a really good time with him on the night before the Super Bowl. We got rather drunk, and then the next day he's hanging around. We watched some Super Bowl and done some card tricks. Great card man. He has a book coming out. I can't wait to read it. Who else we got? Paul Vigil, my buddy Paul Vigil is a fabulous magician from, I think he lives in Las Vegas now. He certainly works there. And I've met him at various places. I met him in Newcastle, and I think I met him in Vegas one time, and we just seemed to bump into each other a lot, and he was working close up with Gary all week. Always a pleasure to see his act. His act was superb, his close-up act. He's one of the few remaining people, I think, in the world who can sort of, you know, convince you that you could half believe you're watching real magic when Paul does it. He's very, very good. Who else? Jackie McClements. I must mention some of the Scottish guys. I'd never met Jackie before. He's from Clydebanks, like, you know, less than 20 miles from where I live, about 15 miles from where I grew up. But I'd never met him before. He was over there, he was doing the WC Fields Bar. Jackie was a legend, and it was great to meet him. I need to mention Ivor and Jeff, the double act who made up Fifth Dimension, who were in the main room. I forget the name of it now. The big stage room. The Palace Theatre, I believe it's called. Their act was very funny. They were cool guys. I met them again recently at Blackpool. Good to see them too. Okay, Alex Proctor, who I'd met I think once before. He used to be involved with the SCA, the Scottish Conjurers Association. He was doing late parlour, so he was on after me every night, which really meant that we only got to say, you know, hello, here's your dressing room, you know, as we swapped places. But it was good to see him out there. Gary Middleton, I must say, a shout out to my mate Gary, because we were sort of hanging all week. We flew out together, flew back together, so it was all good times as usual. Staff at the Magic Castle, as always, were superb. In particular, the lovely Melody, who kept the gin and tonic and Peroni flowing thick and fast all week. Bonnie, who was just great and always kept me in check when it was time for my shows. Don't you have a show, Mr. Forrest? So she was great. Yeah, that's about it. The room managers, of course, who come in and give you the lovely introductions. Just everyone at the castle. Milt Larson, why not, for just running the place and owning it, and, you know, just having such an amazing place for magicians to visit. The Magic Castle was superb. I apologise for going on about it so much, but there you have it. The Magic Castle. Okay, so one more clip from the session. If you watched episodes 20 and 21, I was at the session convention in January, saw a lot of great magicians, and I had some clips. One more for you this week. Check out Ray Cosby.
Hi, I'm Ray Cosby, and you're watching Full 52 TV. I'm going to have Eric help me with this. Eric's going to choose a card, but it's not going to be the Queens, so let's get those out. We're going to leave them right here. Just don't choose the queens. Okay, touch the back of one of these cards. I think it was this one. The Jack. We're going to leave the Jack sticking out where the queens can see it. And they can see the queens. Now give it a shake. Now there's a queen above, a queen below, and the Jack is in between. Thank you for watching.
Okay, so I've also been to Blackpool since the last time we did an episode. Since the last episode, I've been and done the Blackpool Convention. I'm there every year, as those of you who go will know. Those of you who don't won't know. But it's a 3-day event. It's the biggest magic convention in the world based on attendance, and I had a great time. I'll give Ollie Mealing a shout out. Ollie came and worked on the stall with me for all 3 days, and he done a great job. And he's a great card guy, Ollie. I've mentioned him before on this, and yeah. So thanks a lot, buddy. You really helped out. I'll put his little blog address up there because Ollie does a review show, and it's very good. So check it out. I don't think it's not a show. It's just like he reviews products online. So check it out. The big seller. Now I've had emails from people about this already. I heard about this thing at Blackpool. I heard about it. Where is it? Why can't I buy it on the website? The effect in question is called Xbox, and it is by Kevin Shaler. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Kevin Shaler, and it's a brilliant card and box, and it was debuted as a sort of pre-release issue at the Blackpool Convention. I was demoing it all weekend. It's like a multiple use card and box thing. It fools everybody. I mean, it really looks incredible, and we almost sold out of the sort of pre-release copies that we brought along. So it done rather well. Xbox, if you're looking for it, or if you're interested by what I've just said, stay tuned. All right, we are going to add some extra bits to the DVD, and it'll probably come in slightly different packaging from what it was in at Blackpool, but it is coming soon. And the additions to the DVD, just so you know, is Kevin's going to film an introduction and stuff because he doesn't feature on the DVD and it's his effect. So that's all coming soon. Xbox, it's very, very, very good. Okay, now I know I was saying that I'm putting it out. It is amazing. When you see the demo, I think it'll fool you. It definitely should. It's one of these bizarre sort of gimmicks that even when you get an inkling of what's going on, you still can't quite fathom how it all connects. It's a cool thing. Multiple routines, very good stuff. Please do watch out for it. Xbox coming soon. Okay, so one more thing I must mention at Blackpool. A big congratulations to Sean McCree. Sean McCree, I'm sure you're all familiar with the name. He's a very well respected creator, a magician from here in the UK. He's just phenomenal. He done DVDs with RSVP. They are both excellent. One is called Stand and Deliver, the other is called Mix and Mingle. Sean entered the close-up competition at Blackpool and he came third, which is really good because he tells me that that's the first time he's entered a competition in 20 years. So he, you know, comes out of retirement almost in the in the competition scene, and gets a place. He came third. I mention it not just to congratulate Sean, but also because he won that prize performing an effect of mine. It's his version of an effect of mine called The Man Who Paints the Future, which, and the way things go around, alright, Sean took my effect, which is from my radio rental DVD, alright, and he made it more stagey, he made it more stand-up, he improved a lot to make it for a bigger audience. Now when I seen Sean's version, he was kind enough to send it to me and I read through, I thought, this is great. So my parlour act in LA, in the castle, was my effect, but Sean's version of my effect, that's what I closed with, The Man Who Paints the Future. And it's a sort of a long piece, so it took up most of the show. And you know, then I get back and we're talking about it, and Sean does it in the competition, comes third. So it's doing the rounds, the man who paints the future right now, and it's a good effect. So anyway, congratulations, Sean. Here's a little clip from Blackpool.
Dave Forrest here for F52TV. There's a big cup on the table. I'm going to show you in a minute. There it is. This was third prize in the close-up.
Yeah, British
close-up competition. Won by Mr. Sean McCree. Congratulations, Sean. You should all clap right now, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sean won third prize doing The Man Who Paints the Future. Ollie's going to take this camera. Yeah, I'm going to do this.
Come on! Alright,
Once again, well done, Sean McCree. Now, this leads us nicely on. Radio Rental is just going to fill so many things this week. First of all, I'm going to tell you, if you're interested in this DVD, it's currently £5 off if you enter the code, which is on screen. Now, simply put that code in when you buy it, you'll get a £5 off, which is pretty good. This is not just one effect, right? There's 10 different things on here, sort of mentalism with cards. If you want a little taste of what's on here, you're in luck, because the free trick this episode is the first trick off of this DVD called Foresight, and later you'll watch a performance and an explanation of that. And it will also be our competition prize for this week. So I think it's been a prize before, but all you have to do is visit the links on screen, like and favourite this episode, alright, and leave a comment that you favourited on this episode, and you are automatically entered into the draw, and we'll give 2 of these away. Alright, so there are 2 DVDs available to be won, Radio Rental. Simply follow the links on screen, like and favourite each of the links, then favourite this episode and leave a comment, and you're automatically entered in the draw. One of you will be picked at random in the next episode. Lots of luck. Alright, so I realise that we're on episode 22 here. I missed a number of weeks. It's just because I'm so busy. Always at the beginning of the year, it's mayhem. But hopefully we'll pick this up and I'll be able to continue each week from here on in. But let me tell you some of the stuff I've been working on. The Lee Smith project I was talking about way back in December sort of got put on the back burner because I had other things come up. It is nearing completion and it will be available soon. Look out for it. It's an amazing change of a card. It's like a gimmick thing, lots of different routines and ideas. It's a cool thing, so watch out for it. Xbox, of course, is coming soon. I mentioned earlier. Look out for that. Next week is a busy week for me. I start filming a very, very cool project with a major name. He's a big name. And that all kicks off next week. I'll be filming for about a week. Very excited about this. I think it's potentially one of the best things I've ever been involved with, and I literally can't wait to start being able to talk about it more. But perhaps after we finish filming, or perhaps in next week's episode, you may just get a clue as to who that individual is. What else is coming soon? I have another thing of my own. It's a little thing that's coming out. It's very cool. It's like a system for making stuff vanish and disappear. Playing cards, that is, vanish and disappear. It's like a concept that has many uses. I've talked about it before. So all this stuff is coming up. And on top of all that, the website is currently being redeveloped. I've had a sneak peek at what it's going to look like. The guys that are working on it have sent me some images. It looks great. I'm really pleased with how it looks. And the throbbing brain techno guy behind it all is building a much better, more usable system. So the website should be, you'll see it change very soon. I'll keep you posted on that. So yeah, all this stuff is what's been consuming all my time. That's why it took so long for episode 22. But thanks for bearing with me. Oh, sorry, I was just reading the February issue of Magic Magazine with John Bannon on the front. Did you any of you happen to catch this issue, the February issue of Magic Magazine, the John Bannon special? It's really good. Tons and tons of really cool effects from John, and it's written really well, and it's just lots of great material. And yeah, so I do recommend you go out and get a copy, because it is literally jam-packed with awesome material by the one and only John Bann, and everybody knows he's a favourite creator of mine. And something in particular caught my eye on page 37. I won't tell you what it says or anything like that, but at page 37 here, this last little portion of the column, it's interesting, rather interesting and somewhat flattering. Alright. Here's what you've been waiting for. You've listened to me drone on for I don't know how long about all types of stuff that you couldn't give a shit about. Here's what you've been waiting on. It's the free trick. This is a great trick. I used to open my lectures with it. I used to do this trick. I used to have this gig. It was for an outdoors company, and it was basically small groups would be led into a room of about 15, and then they would sit for 20 minutes, half an hour. Then I'd get another little group, and I'd done this trick every single time for that type of setting. I remember doing it. Well, I don't know why I stopped. Yeah. Here it is anyway. It's called Foresight. Okay, you lucky people. I've probably seen me doing a couple of card tricks. I'm going to do something a bit different now. It's commonly called mentalism if you're in the circle, but I'm not in the circle. Mentalism is sometimes called mind reading, but that's not technically accurate either, because it just has the appearance of mind reading sometimes, and in actual fact it's just being slightly more attuned to signals and ticks and clicks that we all sort of give off. And in fact, I can demonstrate this for you, James. I'm actually going to have, just by way of demonstration as to how this is something that we can all achieve, I'm actually going to have you read my mind, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use these playing cards, and playing cards are a good choice because they're an everyday item and everybody's generally familiar with them, and they can represent a random choice fairly easily. And so we're going to use some cards, and I'm going to think of one, and then you're going to hopefully read my mind. But don't, worry about it. It may sound daunting. It'll be easy, I can assure you. So we'll go for a couple of cards here. In fact, I'll just take a few more, sort of at random, because I don't want to think that maybe I'm somehow I know what's coming or anything like that. I'll take another one there. How many is that? Yeah, that'll do us. We'll do, yeah. Should be fine. Okay, James, I'm going to think of one of these cards now, okay? And when I've decided on which card I'm going to use, I'm going to mark it with a dot. I'm going to make a dot on it so that at the end, if you happen to decipher which card I'm thinking of, you'll know it's the one, and I'm not just saying, yeah, that's the one, because it'll have the circle on it. So let's see. Yeah, I'm going to think of this one, all right? Now, okay, so I'm now thinking of one of these cards, and they're quite random. What we have here are some cards of one colour and some of another colour. It's either red or black. Now I'm going to tell you this. On this occasion, the colour of the card that I am thinking of is in the minority here. There are 4 of one colour, but that's not the colour of the card I'm thinking of. There are only 2 cards here of the colour that I'm thinking of, okay? Don't worry about this too much. It's more a matter of just going with your instinct. So, do you think I'm thinking of a red card, or do you think I'm thinking of a black card? Right. That's right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm thinking of a red card. And in actual fact, yeah, you can see here. Get rid of the black cards. There's 2 of the colour I was thinking of. The black cards we don't need. So that was well done. Now we're down to 2 suits. You see. It's either a heart or a diamond. Which suit do you think I'm thinking of? Heart. The spot on again. Here it is, okay? We've got it down this far, okay? The card I made the dot on. And look, just so that everyone at home knows that these cards aren't marked, you can't see the number or anything like that. What I'm going to do is just concentrate now and focus, and you'll get this. I know you can do it. I'm looking now at the small number up in the corner of the card. It's a number between 1 and 10. What's the number? 7. Okay, so in a nice, loud, clear voice, what's the card I'm thinking of?
7 of hearts.
The 7 of hearts there with the red dot on it, you see. Yeah, so there you go, it's easy, right? That's how you can read other people's minds. It's quite fascinating. But here's the thing, I told you a little bit of a lie. Because I sort of hoped you would say 7 of hearts, because I didn't think of it just then. I actually thought of it yesterday. I thought, I'm going to come and do this DVD. What card will I think of when I do that trick where the spectator reads my mind, you see? So I thought of it yesterday. And what I done was, to prove that I would make you think of the 7 of hearts, I took a 7 of hearts from another deck, I placed it in my pocket, and I brought it with me. From another deck, you see. And you see the 7 of hearts, and of course that's the card I always wanted you to think of, the 7 of hearts. Thank you. So here is the explanation for the first effect, where the spectator apparently reads your mind. I know that this will find favour with some of you, and some of you won't like it so much because there is a certain amount of uncertainty, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. In the meantime, let me show you what you need to do to prepare this. Now, what we have here is a deck of cards from which you remove the 4 7s, okay? Then you take a red marker pen and you make a dot on each of the 7s. You'll notice that it's in this blank area here on each of the 7s. Okay, so each 7 has a red mark on it, like that. In addition to these, you need 4 7s from another deck. All right, these are from, I forget the name of the brand, but from a different deck, in stark contrast to the deck you're going to be using. And you want these in 4 different pockets, or perhaps you'll use some sort of index in one pocket. I prefer 4 different pockets in a known order. I use the chased order, and the way I done it yesterday was, and it depends on what I'm wearing usually, but I had clubs in my inside jacket pocket here. I had hearts in my right pocket here, jacket pocket. I had spades in my left jacket pocket and diamonds in my right trousers pocket. That's just what's for me: clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds. Clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds. So I know which pocket contains which 7. So now we need to talk about how the spectator apparently reads your mind. Now, at its core, this is essentially quite a weak technique, but it's dressed up, not technique but principle, but it's dressed up to look quite impressive, and I've been opening my lectures with it, and I must say it's getting great reactions, and it's puzzling a lot of magicians, and I think it's because it's fairly bold. Let me explain how this starts. These are in your pocket in the order that you know. You don't mention them until the end, so we'll forget about them for now. Your deck is set up like this: 3 7s on top and 1 7 somewhere in the middle, all right? You bring out the deck and you say, you do your opening spiel, how it's not really mind reading and anybody can do it if they put their mind to it, and you're going to give a demonstration, and you choose someone from the front row who looks like, and this is difficult to sort of quantify, but you want to get someone who looks like they want to participate first of all, and who looks like they want to enjoy themselves. In other words, they will be likely to, go out of their way to make things work. Now, this is a hard thing to sort of describe, but when you look in the front row, you'll be able to see the person who's going to be suitable. All right, they'll look eager, and like I say, you'll have to do that groundwork on your own. But pick someone who you think will go out their way to help you. As I say, I'm going to remove some cards at random, and they are random essentially. One of them is the 7 that's inside the pack. Then I take any black card, and then I take any red card. And I've took a 5 there. What I would tend to do is take a number card and a face card, something like this. It doesn't really matter. So you've got your 7, a black card and a red card. Take them out and say, actually, we'll make it a bit more random, and I'll take some without looking, because I don't want you to think that I know what cards these are. And I've just false shuffled there. I remove a 7, and then I might give a false cut. That's another 7. And then finally, you take the last 7. And you've apparently removed these cards randomly. What your hand now consists of here is 6 cards. 4 7s, which are all marked with red dots, and 2 indifferent cards, one of which is black and one of which is red. You say, I'm going to think of one of these cards, and I'm going to mark it with a big red dot, so that you know at the end when I show you that is the one I was thinking of. So you take any 7 to the face, you take your red marker and you just go over the dot that's already there. Take the pen, put the pen away, and now fan them out and say, so this is the card I'm thinking of, and it's a good idea to give them a little mix at this point, because you don't want them to know what that marked card is. And you say, okay, I'm going to think of the colour of my, and this is what I mean by it. It may seem, as it's being explained, that this wouldn't work, but it does work. You say, I'm thinking first of the colour. It's either red or black. And you say, and I'm going to tell you that, in actual fact, the colour that I'm thinking of, only 2 of these cards are that colour. The other 4 cards are the colour that I'm not thinking of. So the colour I'm thinking of is in the minority here. Only 2 of them have that colour. So whatever colour they say, let's say they say red in this occasion, you say, that's spot on, I am thinking of red, and in fact, only these 2 are red. And these 4, you show the indifferent card. You say, these 4 cards are black, and you get rid of them. So the indifferent card there sells the idea that these are 4 black cards, and these are 2 red cards. Now let's look at it the other way. Imagine they say black. You say, exactly, I'm thinking of black cards, and these 4 cards are red. That's the colour I'm not thinking of. And your indifferent card there, again, it appears that you get rid. It appears that they were right, and you've sort of proved that they were right, because you're only left with 2, and these 4 are red cards, so we don't need them. So let's continue as though they've chosen red as the colour. You say, spot on, I am thinking of red. These 4 are black. We don't need them anymore. And now you're just going to go for the suit. Now you're going to say, it's either hearts or diamonds. What suit do you think I'm thinking of? And it doesn't matter what they say. You just tell them that they're correct and get rid of the other one, right? So in this case, I say, what suit am I thinking of? And they say hearts, and I say, spot on, you're doing a great job, and I just discard the diamond. So essentially, up until this stage, all you've done is discarded cards, based on the answers that they give you, which seems like it might be transparent, but it really isn't. And so you're left looking at a 7 of hearts. Now, and of course it has a red dot on it, and no matter which 7 you would have gotten down to, it would still have had a red dot on it, which goes to prove it was the card you were thinking of. At this stage you're going to say, now this is where it can go wrong, okay? But I'll give you a couple of suggestions if it does go wrong. I will tell you this, in all the times I've done it, it's never gone wrong yet. They've always said 7. I'm going to say, there's one thing I should mention here actually. This is an addition. This trick has sort of evolved as times went on. I don't know how well you'll see this, but what I've done there is I've used the back pattern on the border. I've taken a blue pen and I've suggested the number 7 there in the pattern of the card. Okay? Now, the reason I've done that is because at this stage, depending on how close they are, this may, like I say, this is the most recent addition. I don't know if it's worthwhile or anything, but I want to suggest this number 7 from the get-go. So I'm going to say, now look at the back of the card. You can't see the number through the card, can you? And as I say see the number, I'm going to draw out the number 7 on the back of the card, and it's encompassed inside a statement that seems to be saying, you can't see what this card is. So I say, look at the back of the card, you can't see the number through the card, can you? And they say no. And they may pick up on this 7, they may not. I don't think it does any harm either way. But now you're going to really force the 7 on them. You want to suggest the 7. So I say, now concentrate and just don't think too much about it, just go with what you feel. And I say, I'm now looking at the little number up in the corner as I draw a little 7 here in the air. I'm looking at the little number up in the corner of the card. Now, one thing I should point out is, at first when I started doing this, I was drawing it as I looked at it. But you need to draw it backwards. From their perspective, you want to draw a little 7. And don't be obvious, just say, I'm just looking at the little number up in the corner of the card. So you suggest the number 7. So I draw a little 7 in the air. Now I'm going to draw a big 7 in the air. And this all flows together. I'm looking at the little number in the corner of the card. It's a number between 1 and 10. What's the number? And I draw this big 7, and it's a number between 1 and 10, which doesn't make sense because 10 would be over here, I think, but nonetheless, number between 1 and 10, what's the number? Now, we all know that if you ask for a number between 1 and 10, the most likely reply will be 7. It's just statistically, it's what people choose when asked for a number between 1 and 10. So odds are already in your favour. Combine this with the idea that you've chosen the right spectator and you're giving them these signals. Like I say, I've never had it go wrong. They've always said 7. And yesterday, James did say 7, and he wasn't stooged. We never prepared it. I never told anybody what was going to happen. And so you've seen it happen as it actually does happen. And you say, fine, so you've chosen the number 7. So what is this card? What is this card that I'm thinking of? And they will say the 7 of hearts. And then you can, of course, show them that it is, in fact, the 7 of hearts. And the red dots on there to prove that that's the one you've been thinking of from the start. So that would be the end of the effect if it weren't for these 4 cards, which are in 4 different pockets. And now you just reveal whichever one they've chosen. So clubs, hearts is in my right jacket pocket. I would reach in there and say, I thought of this card actually yesterday, and I tried to make you think of it. And here you are, and you finish with a nice stage picture of holding the 2 cards like this from 2 different decks. They've apparently read your mind and told you the card that you're thinking of. Now let me just quickly mention outs if it ever goes wrong. If it ever goes wrong, depending on the crowd, if let's say someone says 5, the first thing that I would do is I would say no. I would stop them. No, the first number you thought of, because I think it's likely if somebody says a number like that, the number 7 may have crossed their mind, in which case they might go, well, the first number I thought of was 7, and you can end successfully. If they're adamant that it was 5 and they never thought of another number, depending on the size of the room, you can say, how many people thought of the number 5, and a few hands may go up. If you ask a room full of people, how many people thought of the number 7, most hands will go up in the room. It's the most likely number, as I've already said. So you can finish it that way, and that this person might not have got it, but the rest of the room somehow read your mind and they got the 7. If it's only a few people at a table, you might say, no, that's not quite it, and turn to the next person and say, what number did you think of? What number did you think of? And just finish it off. The point being, don't worry if this doesn't work, because it has, you play it off as a difficult thing and it may not work, but it might work, and it'll be great if it does. If it doesn't, don't worry about it, because you are the person who will decide, how they react to an apparent failure. If you don't make it seem like you failed, then in their eyes you haven't, and it's not a big deal. But like I said, it's never went wrong for me yet, touch wood, and I think you should try it. I think you'll find it's quite a powerful thing, and at its core it's very basic. So there you have it. I hope you use it.
Okay, so that was the free effect from this week. I know that you like it when it's lifted straight off a DVD. Remember, radio rental is the prize this week, and if you don't want to wait, you can get a £5 off by putting this code in the discount box. So yeah, there you go. I hope that was of some use to some of you. That is all for this episode. Do come back for episode 23. I'd like to tell you that it's definitely going to be next week, but as I said, I start shooting a major project next week, and I'm going to be travelling all over, and I'm going to be staying in B&Bs and stuff. You know what it's like, right? I won't necessarily have a solid internet connection, but I will get an episode up and I will get plenty of footage, and whenever the next one comes, and it won't be as long as the gap between 21 and 22, when it does come, it's going to be worth it, because you're going to find out about this massive project, and hopefully you'll be as excited as I am about the prospect that's coming up. So yeah, so that's all for now. Do come back for episode 23. I'm Dave Forrest for F52TV. See you next time.